Huge news in the baseball world as our buddy Jeff Passan from ESPN is reporting that Commissioner Rob Manfred removed Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and other deceased players from Major League Baseball's permanent ineligible list. Manfred wrote in a letter to an attorney, obviously a person no longer with us cannot represent a threat to the integrity of the game. A lot of baseball fans are super excited. Many of them are saying, oh, of course you wait until Pete Rose is no longer with us to give him a shot to be in baseball's Hall of Fame. And I say, Pete Rose is the guy that didn't give Pete Rose a shot to get into the Baseball Hall of Fame. We're always looking to point the finger at somebody else as to why we can't do this or we weren't given that shot. My guess is that Pete Rose would have had ample opportunity to do this if he would have looked himself in the mirror and said, you have to clean up your act, which he never did. For 15 years after Bartlett A. Giamatti, the commissioner at the time, said, Pete, you're out, he never admitted to betting on baseball. You know when he finally did? When he could turn a quick buck, when he put out a book. And then he started saying, yeah, I did bet on baseball, but I only bet on my team to win when I was managing them. Well, he also bet on hundreds of other baseball games that didn't involve his team. When you walk into a clubhouse, it says it very clearly on the wall, you are not to bet on baseball. I imagine if he had told then Commissioner Bud Selig, I screwed up, how do I help myself, and how can I get back involved in the game that I love? My guess is they could have figured out a plan at some point. Pete didn't care enough about it. He cared about getting sympathy from the public, making money, signing autographs down the road in Cooperstown on induction weekend. He didn't care about improving himself, admitting when he was wrong. And I don't even want to get to the other disgusting stuff off the field about Pete Rose. I'm strictly talking about the gambling. And this is hard for me because Pete Rose was one of my favorite players growing up. He's the winningest player in the history of the sport. You never felt cheated when you watched Pete Rose play because you felt like every game was so important to him. Now that he's eligible and he could be voted in as early as December of 2027, I think he's going to have the backing of a lot of people publicly. I'm not one of them. Much more coming up Wednesday on Baseball Today.